I would like to talk about serverless in Kubernetes, and the main technology part will be about Knative here. So just to get through about the agenda, first part will be more likely a theoretical part. It is about serverless, how great this name is for serverless, what it is not, and a bit about function as a service. Then you will see some things, main components about Knative. I created a small demo as well. I hadn't sacrificed to the demo god neither, so hopefully everything will work. There will be two demos. One will be a prepared one, and the other one will be on live here. And then I would like to talk about what was my impression basically during these first couple of weeks working with Knative. What other alternatives do we have on public cloud providers, and also for open source alternatives as well? And at the very end, there will be a takeaway place. So after seeing Kasper's about me slide, I don't have that many badges. He looked like a colonel, or I don't know. So I'm pretty sure that I need to somehow get these badges in the future. But I started as a backend web developer, and then moved to big data world at Cloudera. That's where I started to get more like a theoretic knowledge about Kubernetes, and then moved to a data pipeline engineer. Here we work with Kubernetes. And right now I will switch jobs to Scolia, where I will begin my journey as an infra dev. So about serverless. First, a few things about the deployment models and development models. I will show you a table where you can see that about these two actors, basically, the developer and the provider. You can see that during these different kind of container as a service, platform as a service, and so on, what is the responsibilities between these two actors there? I'm pretty sure that you see a few things that similarly look like this, but I want to ensure before we get into serverless to have a base knowledge about this one. So the provider is basically who is giving you the infrastructure underneath that when a developer would like to solve any kind of development challenges what they have on business side. So here you can see basically these three. What I would like to talk is the container as a service, the like Kubernetes, what Docker Swarm or Nomad from HashiCorp as well. And on the runtime, so there the developer will have much more responsibilities than the infrastructure dev. So the developer is also responsible for the runtime and the scaling part as well. Where platform as a service, like Boomers for Heroku or the Gen Z is the Vercel part, there you will have much less of responsibilities. So they are doing the scaling part as you wish, which could be sometimes a problem, but maybe later. And Knative will much more like a function as a service, or there's the backend as a service as well on the serverless side. So here in this vendor, what does serverless mean? It does not mean that you don't have servers, of course, but you shouldn't have too much requirement on the server management part. So this is the main thing that the serverless working group also came up. So the best would be the zero ops, of course, but that's not something that's the ideal thing. But one other big win is the on compute cost wise. So sometimes they are referred as pay as you go or on demand. So you only pay for what you are using, basically. And it should be much more simplified deployment, and the scalability is also almost automatic. And yeah, the serverless working group, just one thing to mention here as well, that Cloud Events was also created by the serverless working group, which is a graduated CNCF project as well. Knative also uses Cloud Events for all around on the platforms, how they are talking to each other. So how should you see the event-driven and the function as a service and the serverless? So it's not quite the same, but it's really similar. They have some intersection, and somewhere it should be looking, so the Knative should be in the really near to function as a service, but more like a serverless thing. So the event-driven architecture is must have in a function as a service, as these are the triggers that triggers the function, the event. And on the serverless side, on the other hand, there's not just function as a service, but you can see backend as a service. Just to give you an example, Firebase is one backend as a service, where you basically give the backend all the authentication part and all these kind of database management, remote updating, push notification, and so on. So yeah, function as a service, just to give you a quick detail about this as well. These are ephemeral containers, so short-lived objects. Functions are triggered with events, and they are automatically scaling on demand. Where could you use it? It is really great on event-driven architecture, so in data pipeline, for instance, and data processing as well. And when you don't know how the traffic patterns look like. And now get to the Knative part. So what is a Knative? Knative is an open source project which is based on Kubernetes. It gives you serverless capabilities and also it enables you function as a service in some way. Initially, it was developed by Google and all the cloud native leaders, IBM, Red Hat, VMware, and it is now in incubating project, on CNCF. It has been there for 2 years, I think. And what it gives, because of Kubernetes, it gives you vendor neutrality as well. And it has really great advanced capabilities, what I would like to talk you a bit later. So it has two main components, the serving part and the eventing part. Serving part is the essential part, eventing is an optional part. The serving part means that you can create Knative services that will spin up. It can scale back to zero, something similar like what you have in Kubernetes, it KEDA. And what it also gives you that you can bundle up your containers and the configuration into revisions, and then you can give routes to them. So then an HTTP request could spin up basically your service and then go back idle when there is no traffic on site. These can be configured. It has a Knative autoscaler also that basically creates the zero to scale action. And let's talk about, on the serving side, I will also talk a few things about this. So it has a request run, the pod autoscaler, which can go back to zero. So this is the Knative pod autoscaler KPA. It has some kind of a sidecar, which basically sends you metrics about how your application is going, and it can make decision based on that. There's the revisions as well. These are immutable, so you can easily roll back if you would like. But it's also capable to do traffic splitting, like Bruggen deployment or A/B testing. Canary deployment is also, but the gradual rollouts is pretty easy with Knative as well. It is serverless, so these kind of containers are not short-lived, like in function as a service, but it's more like when you spin it up, it can go, and while it is getting request, it will be there. And also it has some kind of request buffering, because when there is no request or no application, then it needs to buffer before it's sent to the real application itself. On the eventing part, yes, this is built for the event-driven architecture, and this is where the function as a service capability get into the picture. What it enables that there could be a lot of sources that are could be used. So you can think about webhook from GitHub. It supports. You can think about a PubSub message queue from Google. It also supports, and it can send you over like cloud events, and it is really easy to connect basically these kind of loosely coupled microservices. It has multiple event delivery patterns, so if you would like, you can go direct delivery from source to sync, but also it can fan out, so basically multiple consumers could consume that kind of event. And there's also a capability to PubSub, so there will be brokers and triggers, how it would look like. It has also open telemetry inside, so you can see really great metrics and traces. Jaeger, Zipkin also guaranteed there as well. For log processor and forwarder, there is the Fluentbit implementation there. It has DLQ capabilities as well. So yeah, it is a really major project. So let's check out how this works in real life. So here you can see, I hope you can see, this is a micro-K8s application in Hetzner that has just pinned up with 2 nodes. And yeah, Knative serving part is deployed there. So I will show you one quick QR code you don't need to be afraid of. This is not DEF CON. So after a short registration and card details, you can basically run a memory game, which would be really beneficial for you. And here I would like to show you also how traffic splitting looks like. So there are multiple namespaces here. I will go to the KCD one, where you could see this is the memory game what I was talking about. It has an Nginx and a Query ingress. There's 3 revisions, what you can see it here, and it has split it into 50-50, the second and the third one. And now let's see if that works. Just a moment. Here you can see. So if you use this QR code, hopefully you will see an application. And I will go back to the pod. Yeah, somebody already checked it out. So as you can see, it's spin out 2 pods. It is a sidecar. This is a proxy that is basically buffering up the request because it's spin up from 0. And hopefully there will be 50-50 around that. You can see the back of the card. Some of them are green, some of them are blue. So I would like to ask you, how many of you got blue cards back? Can you raise your hands? Okay, and how many did you get green ones? I will call it an even. So yeah, this is how traffic splitting works. So if you would like to test out like a feature, you can simply do this kind of weighting on the traffic. It also can speak up about, there's a, let's talk about a bit about the sidecar. So this proxy basically gets these kind of requests and send you over to the real pod. And what happens there, that this proxy also gives you metrics for the autoscaler itself. So it is checking how many concurrent requests, how many requests are coming to your application, and based on that, you can scale it up or scale it down. If I would lower it, then you would see that not just two pods are spinned up, but it might be much more. So this is the part where Serverless came in. What is really good about this as well, that these revisions are immutable, and I want to emphasize this, because you can go back if you see any kind of problem during Canary, then you can easily go back even to like 5 revisions back. So this part, I think it's a really great solution from there. And okay, now let's see the other part. This would be the live demo, so finger crossed. How could you create a new Knative service? I used their Go Hello World application just to sake of the simplicity. So you can basically, it has a CLI tool which gives you really good understanding about what kind of Knative services do you have, what is the revision are split it, and so on. And to create a Knative service is just that simple. You name it, you give you the image, you can define a lot of configurations there, like port and so on. I give this environment variable this new target, and yeah, that's basically it. Once I did that, I try to put it somewhere here so you can see. Yeah, so you can see it here that it will automatically spin up one. Yeah, the other one is terminating as well, because after 1 minute it's scaled back to 0. So right now you can see, let's just check some services. So it will create the service for us with a new revision. As you could see, this one is a new the new Knative service what we have. I also need to apply one more thing. This one will be the ingress, what is for the outer part. It has an internal one, the courier, which means that it's a lightweight istio that only contains the envoy proxy and some control plane. And now, I haven't showed you that previously. It wouldn't show me anything, but let's see. I haven't remembered the URL what I just gave it, but now I will. Let's see. Okay, and now I need a browser that I forgot to create one, but it can be easily be fixed. Okay, so now it should give you back this hello KCD Budapest, what we gave as an environment variable. The service could be updated easily too. I won't go in that in detail, but I would like to check back what kind of services do we have here. So there is this Kubernetes Knative namespace that, this one. So what can you see here? This is the courier gateway. I already talked about this HTTP ingress for traffic routing. It is a lightweight alternative for Istio. It manages TLS and HTTPS connection. The activator is the second part. This one is when it is scaled back to 0. The activator is the first one that is getting the request. It has a buffer in it and also a proxy. So when it gets the activator, then it will poke the autoscaler that it should check whether there is an available pod. If not, then it will spin up one. During this time, the activator will poll whether it is spinned up or not. And once it is done, all the buffered requests will be sent to the real service or real pods, real instances. And then these all metrics will be sent back to the autoscaler. The autoscaler has also a panic mode when suddenly the application is autoscaling in a much eager way than like right now when you just clicked on or check the QR code, then it will go into a panic mode. That means that it has a shorter window, like you can configure this, but like by default, it's the 10th of the real time. By default, it is like 6 seconds. So it will check how gradually basically the requests are coming to the service, and it will ramp it up like that. Okay, let's go back to the presentation here. So I already showed this QR code for you, so I don't need to check this one. this is basically the request flow what I mentioned for you. So here, the request is coming in. There's the buffer that's called the Knative pod autoscaler that's saying that the Knative serving needs to spin up a new instance. In the meantime, the activator is basically pulling this Knative serving, and once the instance is up, then from the buffer, all the requests are sent to the instance and then go back to the ingress. Yeah. So what was my impression on this whole journey what I had in the previous few months? It has a really comprehensive documentation which is up to date, and it has an active community based on the landscape and all the other open source project that has this kind of serverless capability. Only I think Knative was maintained that well than Knative. It has a small resource footprint from Kubernetes side. These revisions, as I highlighted, it's really great that it's ordered, you can roll back easily, it is immutable, so you couldn't change it, neither the image itself, so if you need to add the extra hash. The traffic splitting is also works like charm. It has local development. I have tried with K3s, but that was a bit more tricky, so I stick to Minikube after all. The querying is really great as well, but the debugging part is a bit tricky. The CLI tool makes all the resource management, so hopefully you don't need to worry about this one. If you need to dig a bit deeper about how the request is flowing through, that could be some kind of tricky. But for this, it has also open telemetry. The log collector, log processor could help you. After all, when it is scaled back to 0, it is hard to see these kind of logs and metrics. So I go through some of the function as a service alternative. First, I go with 2 open source ones. One is the Apache OpenWhisk. This was created by the IBM, and it is using in IBM Cloud's function as well. As I could see, it is not that well maintained. So after like half year, it was just a couple of commits in the repo. So I haven't tried it out, but I was a bit afraid, to be honest, to be using this. I would much more use like in the IBM Cloud, where they are managing this kind of function as a service capability. And yeah, the complexity and the maintenance is much higher based on the thoughts and what I could see than on what I saw on Knative part. The other one is open function as a service. This one is well maintained, but it has a commercial price. So you can use it like 60 days in commercial, otherwise you need to pay. You can use for single use. So, but it also portable not just for Kubernetes, but other containers as service capabilities. And yeah, it has also user-friendly CLI. I just checked a few things with this, but yeah, I think Knative is much more mature than OpenFAS, if you need to talk. And let's go with 2 public cloud provider. We couldn't go. So AWS Lambda is the pioneering serverless platform. So we need to talk that this is the most easy way. It's the de facto standard if you would like to do something that AWS Lambda is the first one who is capable to do this. But also it has some cons, like you have a vendor locking. I know that most of you, because you are in the Kubernetes conference, you don't like this kind of vendor locking. And also local development could be a bit more harder to do. And yeah, we couldn't go next, so we can go with versal function next also. This is also has really great services what they have. they rewritten in Rust, which means that it is much more faster to do any kind of new functions what you can create. Still has limited HTTP triggers, but from cold start, which is a must-have in the function as a service, that the cold start should be really fast. So they also have some kind of bytecode caching there. So that's also a really great feature on this side. Observability and metrics are really great here as well. So you can do things, but still there are some negative sides when what you couldn't manage. So if you are creating some kind of a bug, then easily can go wrong. For this, just to small tweets about how this looks like. So takeaways. What could I tell you about serverless in Kubernetes? What I could see that if you would like to do just serverless or just to create a self-managed function as a service, then I wouldn't go with that. But if you have a Kubernetes cluster that maintaining most of your containers, then I would highly recommend that try it out. It doesn't make that much of a deal to enable it. It's easy to start with. You can test a few things. It's really great that you can use right now WebAssemblies, for instance, that's easily and fast to spin up containers. And the provider part, if you have a developer who doesn't want to look into that much in the infrastructure, like in a container as a service model, then it's also a really great thing to think of. We were talking about doing data pipelines, which means that we are getting articles and you can enrich it with different kind of machine learnings. Just to give you some example, articles are coming in, and in an asynchronous way, we're just checking what is the sentiment, for instance, for an article. How positive, negative was it in terms of the linguistic? Or you need to think about you are creating a comment, and after that you need to check, like, is there any kind of bad language inside the comment before you publish it? It's also a good way that something comes in and it spins up from zero, scale up from zero, basically. But if you upload a profile picture and you need to do a thumbnail from that one, that's also a good example that what you can do. It's not that often, so it's good to go back to zero if that's necessary. Some of them are really computation heavy, so I would suggest not, as Knative has some resources that is needed for it. I would say that if something has a lot of resources that could go back, and this is why it would be beneficial to scale back to zero, that's also a good option. If you would like to use just because of the sake of scale to zero, Kata is also a good option. So you don't need to use Knative in this case. And what I really liked, and I haven't seen it before, is this kind of immutable revisions. Rollbacks could be a pain, but what I could see, it is easy to go back even like 10 revisions if you would like, as everything is immutable, the configuration and so on. Also, this traffic splitting could be really useful if you would like to test feature testing and so on. But yeah, this is not a function as a service technology. It enables you, but also if you would like to, if you just need the function as a service, I would also not recommend that you go with this one. Serverless is not a silver bullet, as a last sentence. So think about what are the use cases and why would you choose serverless itself. There's also a serverlesshorrors.com. This is created by Bacai András, who created also Coolify and the single dev behind the whole framework. So you can check it out. There are some nasty builds there that you can see. And don't forget that there will be a key serve presentation in room 2 at the very end of the day. where Peter Cse and Gábor Lovas is going to present, and that's they also using Knative for serverless platform. And thank you for your attention at this time. Thank you very much.